The little girl ruins her mother's wedding and reveals a shocking truth about the groom. Bella sat by the window, her eyes following the luxurious car that had just stopped in front of the gate. A man stepped out of the car, flashing a perfect smile when he saw Helen standing at the doorway. "Helen, you're as beautiful as ever." Andrew walked up and kissed her mother lightly on the cheek. Helen laughed, her smile radiant like a woman deeply in love. "You always say such sweet things." Bella crossed her arms over her chest, quietly observing. She didn't know why, but there was something about Andrew that made her uneasy. He was too perfect, too polite, and there was something very fake about him. Andrew turned to Bella, giving her a gentle smile. "Hello, Bella. How are you today?" "Fine," she replied shortly, her eyes not leaving him. "Bella, don't be rude," Helen frowned slightly. Andrew chuckled, showing no sign of being offended. "It's all right. That's normal at her age. But, Bella, I hope we can be friends." She didn't answer, just stared at him. And for the first time, she noticed something flash in his eyes so quick she wasn't sure she'd seen it at all. A cold gleam. That night, after Andrew had left, Bella tugged at her mother's hand, her voice filled with suspicion. "Mom, do you really think he's a good person?" Helen looked at her daughter and sighed. "Are we going over this again, Bella? Andrew is a good man. You can't keep treating him like this. But I think he's strange. Don't you notice how he always stares at me?" Helen laughed. "You're imagining things. Andrew likes you a lot." Bella bit her lip, about to argue more, but then decided to stop. Her mom loved Andrew, that was too obvious. She couldn't change that with just her feelings. The next morning, at school, Bella sought out her best friend, Emily. "I'm serious, there's something wrong with Andrew," Bella whispered as the two of them stood by the fence near the basketball court. Emily rolled her eyes. "You just don't like him because you don't want your mom to marry someone else, right?" "No. I have my reasons." Emily sighed, placing her hands on her hips. "Bella, I get it. But sometimes you have to let your mom be happy. What if he's dangerous?" Emily laughed. "He's a successful businessman, drives an expensive car, wears designer clothes, and gives your mom fancy gifts." "Dangerous how?" Bella didn't know how to answer. Yes, Andrew had all those things. But why did she still feel like something was wrong? That night, Bella was in her room reading when she happened to glance at the mirror. She saw Andrew standing in the hallway, his eyes staring straight at her through the reflection in the glass. His smile was twisted. Bella's heart pounded. She turned her head, nothing was there. The hallway was empty. She shuddered. She was sure she had seen him. But where had he gone? That night, Bella couldn't sleep. A feeling of fear clung to her, like a shadow lurking in the house. The next day, while Helen was making breakfast, Bella decided to try again. "Mom, I really feel like something's wrong with Andrew." Helen put her coffee cup down and rubbed her temples wearily. "Not this again." "But I have a reason. Last night, I saw him standing in the hallway, looking at me through the mirror. But when I turned around, he was gone." Helen laughed. "Bella, you're imagining things. You need to stop this. Andrew is a good man." "But." "No buts." Helen's voice was sharp. "You are not allowed to disrespect him anymore." Bella pressed her lips together angrily. She knew she was right. But her mom would never believe her. That afternoon, when Helen went out, Bella sneaked into her mother's room to search for anything about Andrew. She opened her mom's laptop and tried to find information about him. Nothing. No news articles, no personal details, not a single thing about a man named Andrew Morgan. Her heart pounded. A successful businessman should have some kind of online presence. So why didn't Andrew have any? She shivered. That evening, during dinner, Andrew came over again. Bella, would you like to try this? He offered her a piece of meat. Bella stared at it, then shook her head. No, thanks. Andrew smiled, but there was something in that smile that made her skin crawl. Is she always this stubborn, Helen? He turned to her mom with a gentle voice. Helen laughed. She just needs time to get used to you. Right. Andrew put down his fork, his gaze shifting toward Bella. But I hope she's not too smart. Sometimes, being too smart isn't good. Bella froze. His words, along with the way he looked at her, made her skin prickle. She knew, right then, that she couldn't let him become part of their lives any longer. But how, when her mom wouldn't believe her? Bella walked quickly down the school hallway, her eyes scanning the crowd of students. She was looking for Emily. Finally, she saw her best friend standing by the lockers, chatting and laughing with Daniel, a boy from their class. Bella rushed over and grabbed Emily's hand. Hey! What's going on? Emily was startled. We need to talk. Right now. Emily frowned, but nodded. They left the hallway and went out to the back of the school, where it was quieter. Is this about Andrew again? Emily crossed her arms. Yes. Emily, I'm sure there's something wrong with him. Last night, I searched online and found nothing about him. Emily sighed. Bella, does that sound reasonable to you? A wealthy businessman with no trace on the internet? Exactly. That's the problem. Someone like him should have hundreds of articles about his company, but I couldn't find anything. Emily raised an eyebrow. So what do you think? I don't know. But I have a bad feeling. You have to believe me, Emily. Andrew is not a good person. Emily was silent for a moment, then sighed. What do you want me to do? Help me investigate. Bella said firmly. We have to find out who Andrew really is. Emily stared at her friend for a long moment, then nodded. Okay. But I'm warning you, if this turns out to be your imagination, I'm done. It's not my imagination, Bella clenched her fists. We start tonight. That evening, Bella carefully opened her mom's bedroom door. She knew Helen was asleep, so she tiptoed inside, searching for her mother's phone. Her heart was pounding as she picked it up and opened the contact list. Finding Andrew's number, she quickly wrote it down. Then she left the room, returned to hers, and immediately texted Emily. I've got his number. Can you check it? Less than a minute later, Emily replied. I'll try. Bella waited nervously. About 15 minutes later, Emily texted back. There's nothing. No information on this number. No name registered. No connections to any accounts. Bella felt a chill run down her spine. That's impossible. He has money, status. Why is there nothing? I don't know. But I think you're right. Something's wrong. Bella swallowed hard. She hadn't wanted to be right about this. The next morning, Bella went to the kitchen earlier than usual, planning to tell her mom what she had found. But as she walked in, she saw Andrew sitting at the table, drinking coffee with Helen. He looked up and smiled. Good morning, Bella. Bella clenched her fists and forced herself to reply. Morning. Helen smiled. Andrew came early because he wants to take me shopping for wedding stuff today. Bella froze. The wedding. It was coming soon. She took a deep breath and decided she had to speak up right away. Mom, I need to talk to you. Just the two of us. Helen blinked. What is it, honey? Bella glanced at Andrew. He was still calmly sipping his coffee, but something in his eyes made her shudder. It's really important. Can we go outside for a minute? Helen looked at Andrew, then back at her daughter. All right. They stepped outside into the backyard. Bella grabbed her mother's hand tightly. "Mom, I searched for information about Andrew." Helen frowned. "Why would you do that?" "Because I had a bad feeling. And I was right. There's nothing about him online, not even his phone number is registered under a name." "Mom, doesn't that seem strange?" Helen sighed. "Bella, you're really taking this too far. Please, Mom. Believe me. I don't want you marrying someone we know nothing about." Helen shook her head. "You just don't want me to be happy again." Bella's eyes widened, hurt. "That's not true. I'm just worried about you." "There's no need to worry. I know Andrew better than you think." Helen's voice was cold. Bella opened her mouth to say more, but suddenly a voice spoke up behind her. "What's going on?" They both turned. Andrew was standing at the door, watching them. Helen smiled. "Nothing, honey." Andrew stepped out, smiling at Bella. But his eyes were cold and frightening. "Bella, you don't like me, do you?" Bella pressed her lips together. "I just don't want my mom marrying someone I don't know." Andrew smiled, bent down, and placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're very smart. But you know, sometimes knowing too much isn't good." His words made Bella freeze. Helen laughed. "Don't scare her." Andrew stood up straight, his eyes never leaving Bella. She understood. It was a threat. That night, Bella couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned, anxiety tightening in her chest. Around midnight, she heard footsteps in the hallway. Her heart pounded. She quietly got out of bed and walked to her door, cracking it open just a little. And she saw Andrew. He was standing outside her mother's room, staring at the door as if deep in thought. Bella's heart raced. Suddenly, Andrew turned his head. He looked straight at her. Bella slammed her door shut, her heart nearly leaping out of her chest. The girl trembled. How long had Andrew been standing there? And what was he thinking? She knew one thing for certain, he was not a good person. But what could she do when her mother refused to believe her? Bella sat on her bed, her heart still pounding wildly after she slammed her door shut. Andrew had looked straight at her. That look was nothing like that of a polite, loving family man. It was the look of a predator. She clutched her blanket tightly, feeling a chill down her spine even though the room was completely sealed against the wind. She had to do something. Early the next morning, as soon as her mother left the house to go try on wedding dresses, Bella immediately called Emily. "Emily. I'm sure now Andrew's not a good person. Last night he was standing outside my mom's room at midnight, staring at the door like he was about to do something. And when I opened my door, he looked straight at me." There was silence on the other end of the line for a few seconds, then Emily spoke slowly. "Are you sure?" "Sure. Completely sure. I can't take it anymore. I need proof so my mom will believe me." Emily lowered her voice, sounding more serious. "So what are you planning to do?" "I have to find out what he's hiding." "How?" "He doesn't leave any clues." Bella pressed her lips together, then took a deep breath. "I'll search his phone." Emily was stunned. "What? Are you crazy?" "No. I'm not crazy. I have no other choice. If I don't find something, my mom will marry him. And if he really is dangerous, I can't let that happen." Emily sighed. "You really are crazy, but fine, I'll help you." That evening, Andrew came over for dinner again. He and her mom sat at the dining table, laughing and chatting happily. Bella couldn't stand seeing her mother smiling at a devil disguised as a man. Her eyes shifted to Andrew's phone, sitting right there on the table. "I'm going upstairs," Bella suddenly said. Helen looked at her daughter. "You're not eating more?" "I'm full." Andrew smiled. All right. Sleep well, Bella. She didn't reply, just turned around and walked away. But instead of going upstairs, she slipped into the kitchen, where she could watch the dining table through a small crack in the door. She waited. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. When Andrew and her mother were deep in conversation, she quietly stepped out, circling around behind him. She took a deep breath and, as quickly as she could, reached out for his phone. But the moment her fingers touched it, Andrew's hand suddenly shot out, grabbing her wrist tightly. Bella jumped in shock, looking up. Andrew was still smiling, but his eyes had darkened. What are you doing, Bella? His voice was low. Helen looked at them, surprised. What's going on? Bella swallowed hard. I was just going to hand him his phone. Andrew stared at her for a long moment, then let go of her wrist. No need. I'm still using it, he said slowly, his eyes never leaving hers. Bella quickly pulled her hand back, feeling the cold where his fingers had gripped her skin. Helen laughed. She must have just wanted to help you, right, Bella? Bella forced a stiff nod. Yeah, that's right. She turned and went straight upstairs, not daring to look back. Once she closed her door, her heart pounded like crazy. She knew. He was suspicious of her now. And that was the most dangerous thing of all. The next morning, Bella met Emily at school again. You didn't get the phone? Emily asked. Bella shook her head. He caught me. Emily's eyes widened. And? Did he do anything to you? No, but I know he suspects me. Emily sighed. You should stop, Bella. No. I'm more certain than ever that he's hiding something. Emily bit her lip, then spoke quietly, there's another way. I know someone who can help. Bella frowned. Who? Emily glanced around, then whispered, Matthew. Bella blinked. Matthew? That kid who hacks computers in math class. Yeah. He can help us look into Andrew. If there's anything shady, he'll find it. Bella hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Okay. Set up a meeting for me. That afternoon, Bella and Emily met Matthew at a cafe near school. Matthew was a skinny boy with glasses who was always glued to his laptop screen. What's the plan? Matthew asked after sipping his coffee. We need to find information on someone, Emily said. Matthew raised an eyebrow. Who? Emily glanced at Bella. Andrew Morgan, Bella said firmly. Matthew typed the name into his computer. What does he do? He's about to marry my mom. Matthew paused for a moment, then kept typing. After a few minutes, he frowned. This is weird. There's nothing on him. Bella felt a chill run down her spine. Emily asked, nothing at all. Nothing. Not even data linked to his phone number. It's like he doesn't exist. Bella clenched her fists. Is there any other way to investigate? Matthew nodded. I can try to trace the IP address from his recent calls. If there's anything fishy, I'll find it. Bella took a deep breath. Do it. That night, Bella got a message from Matthew. I found something. Her heart raced. What is it? His number was once used to contact another number. That number belonged to a woman who went missing 2 years ago. Bella froze. She knew it. She knew he wasn't normal. But what was she supposed to do now? Bella sat on her bed, clutching her phone tightly. Her heart pounded as she reread Matthew's message. His number was once used to contact a woman who went missing 2 years ago. She swallowed hard, her hands trembling. She had known something was wrong with Andrew, but this. He was connected to a disappearance. She couldn't stay silent anymore. The next morning, at school, Bella ran straight to find Emily. Emily. I have proof now. Emily was standing in front of her locker and looked up. What proof? I just talked to Matthew. He found a phone number that was once in contact with Andrew. And the woman who owned that number went missing 2 years ago. Emily's eyes widened. Are you serious? Totally. Now do you believe me? Emily swallowed nervously. So what do we do now? We have to tell my mom. Emily hesitated. Do you think she'll believe you? Bella clenched her fists. She has to. That afternoon, when she got home, Bella went into the kitchen where Helen was preparing dinner. Mom, I need to talk. Helen glanced at her daughter and sighed. This is about Andrew again, isn't it? Not this time, Mom. This is serious. Helen set down the knife and crossed her arms. Go on. Bella took a deep breath. I have proof that Andrew once contacted a woman who went missing. Helen blinked. What? It's true. A friend of mine checked his phone number. It was used to call a woman who disappeared 2 years ago. Helen shook her head. Bella, what are you talking about? I'm telling the truth. You have to believe me. Helen sighed and rubbed her temples. You're just trying to stop me from marrying Andrew, aren't you? Bella was speechless. No. This isn't a joke. Aren't you scared? Helen stared at her daughter for a long moment, then spoke quietly. Do you have any proof besides your friend's words? Bella stiffened. She had nothing but Matthew's message. Helen sighed. Bella, I know you're worried. But you can't accuse someone without concrete evidence. Bella felt as if a storm was tearing through her chest. Why wouldn't her mother believe her? She clenched her fists. You're going to regret this. Helen looked at her daughter, exhaustion in her eyes. I don't want to argue with you anymore. Bella bit her lip, tears threatening to spill. I just want to protect you. Helen turned away. I don't need protecting, Bella. I know what I'm doing. That night, Bella sat in her room, feeling utterly hopeless. No one believed her. Not her mother. Not her friends. No one. What was she supposed to do now? Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Matthew. I found more info about the missing woman. Her name was Adriana Collins. I'm digging deeper into her background. Bella replied immediately. Thank you. I'm going to try to get more info on Andrew. She stood up. It was time to act. The next day, Bella watched Andrew from a distance. She knew she couldn't approach him directly, but there was another way. He parked his car right in front of the house. And if she could find something inside that car? She glanced around. Her mom was in her room, and Andrew was sitting in the living room, talking on the phone. She had about 10 minutes. Her heart pounding, Bella quietly slipped out the front door and headed toward the car. She gently tugged on the door handle. Locked. Damn it. She quickly looked around and noticed one of the car windows was cracked open slightly. If she could just reach the lock. Bella stretched her arm, struggling to reach it. Her fingers had just brushed the lock when. What are you doing? A low voice spoke right behind her. Bella froze, her heart nearly stopping. She turned around. Andrew was standing directly behind her. He stared at her, his eyes dark and unreadable. What are you doing out here, Bella? His voice was soft, but it was laced with danger. Bella tried to stay calm. I just wanted to see inside the car. Andrew raised an eyebrow. See inside? What exactly were you hoping to find in my car? She swallowed hard. Nothing. Andrew took a step forward, leaning in closer. Bella, I think you're lying. She stepped back, her heart racing. "I'm not lying." Andrew smiled, but his eyes were ice cold. "You're a smart girl, Bella. But sometimes, being too smart isn't a good thing." His words froze her in place. He knew. He knew she was suspicious of him. And that was dangerous. That entire evening, Bella didn't dare leave her room. She felt like she had stepped over a dangerous line. Her phone buzzed. A message from Matthew. "I found an old article about Adriana. She used to have a boyfriend. And guess what?" Bella swallowed hard, her heart thudding. What was her boyfriend's name? Andrew Morgan. Bella felt her whole body go cold. He had dated a woman, and she disappeared. She knew what she had to do. She had to find a way to record proof. But how? Andrew was already suspicious of her. Bella lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling with wide-open eyes. She couldn't sleep. Everything was happening faster than she had expected. Andrew wasn't just suspicious. He could be a killer. The woman who had gone missing 2 years ago, Adriana Collins, had been his girlfriend. And now, her mom was about to marry him. What was she supposed to do? Her phone buzzed again. "Matthew, I found an old article about Adriana's disappearance. There's an important detail." Bella quickly typed back. "Bella, what is it?" "Matthew, before she disappeared, she called a friend and said she felt like she was being followed." Bella's heart pounded. "Bella, did anyone investigate her boyfriend?" "Matthew, there wasn't enough evidence. He was never charged." Bella gripped her phone tightly. If the police couldn't do anything, then she had to find a way herself. The next morning, when Bella went downstairs, she found Andrew sitting at the dining table, sipping his coffee. He looked up and smiled. "Good morning, Bella." Bella forced herself to stay calm. "Morning." Helen was busy in the kitchen, not paying attention to the two of them. Andrew set his coffee cup down and tilted his head as he looked at her. "Did you sleep well last night?" Bella stiffened. He was testing her. She took a deep breath. It was fine. He smiled again, but there was no warmth in his eyes. Bella couldn't let him know she was onto him. She had to act normal. At school, she pulled Emily aside into a corner and whispered, "We have to find a way to get his phone." Emily frowned. "Again? Last time, you almost got caught. But this time, I have a plan." Emily crossed her arms. "What plan?" Bella lowered her voice. "Tonight, Andrew's coming over for dinner. When he's in the living room, I'll sneak his phone from his coat pocket." Emily's eyes widened. "Are you insane? What if he catches you?" "That's why I need your help." Emily sighed. "How?" "You'll call my mom and pretend there's an emergency. She'll leave the room, and I'll have a chance." Emily hesitated, then nodded. "Fine. But you have to be super careful." That night, the plan was set in motion. Andrew was sitting on the sofa, chatting with Helen, completely unaware of Bella. Bella stood near the doorway, her eyes fixed on his coat hanging by the door. Then the phone rang. Helen answered. "Hello." It was Emily. Helen frowned. "What?" "Emily, slow down, say that again." She looked at Andrew. "Can you excuse me for a moment, honey?" Andrew smiled. "Of course, darling." Helen left the room, stepping into the kitchen to continue her call. Bella's heart pounded in her chest. This was her only chance. She quickly walked over, reaching into the pocket of Andrew's coat. Her fingers had just touched the phone when. "What are you doing?" The low voice spoke right behind her. Bella froze. She turned slowly. Andrew was standing there, his eyes cold as ice. She couldn't let him see she was scared. Bella forced herself to stay calm. I was just getting my mom's phone. She said she left it in your coat pocket. Andrew stared at her for a long moment, then smirked. Your mom's phone, huh? He reached into the pocket himself and pulled out his own phone, holding it up. So this is your mom's phone? Bella bit her lip, her mind racing. I made a mistake. Andrew leaned down, his gaze locking onto hers. Do you think I'm stupid, little girl? Bella froze. Andrew chuckled quietly, whispering, You're playing a dangerous game. She clenched her fists. I don't know what you're talking about. He laughed. Oh, I think you do. Then he straightened up and slipped the phone back into his pocket. Bella felt like she'd just escaped a venomous snake. At that moment, Helen returned. What's going on? Andrew turned to her with a gentle smile. Nothing at all, sweetheart. Bella was just curious about my phone. Helen laughed. She's always so curious. Bella clenched her hands tighter. What was she supposed to do now? That night, she got another message from Matthew. Matthew, I have a way to get data from his phone without touching it. Bella shot up in bed. Bella, how? Matthew, I have a device that can connect to his phone when he's on the same Wi-Fi network. Bella, so what do I need to do? Matthew, I'll give you the device. You just need to hide it near him when he's in your house. Bella swallowed hard. This time, she would get proof. But could she do it without him noticing? Bella held the small device tightly in her palm, her heart pounding. That morning, Matthew had secretly passed it to her at school. As long as you place it near Andrew when he's on your Wi-Fi, it'll automatically collect data from his phone. Matthew's words echoed in her mind. Tonight, Andrew was coming over again. This was her only chance. She had to be more careful than ever. That night, when Andrew stepped into the house, Bella kept her expression as neutral as possible. He smiled at her, just like he always did. Good evening, Bella. She nodded. Evening. He didn't seem suspicious at all. Good. Helen was in the kitchen preparing dinner. Andrew sat down on the sofa and took out his phone, scrolling through something. Bella took a deep breath and walked over, pretending to tie her shoelaces. Carefully, she slid the small device under the couch. Her heart pounded in her chest. It was done. Now all she had to do was wait for Matthew to report back. Dinner went on as usual, but Bella couldn't focus on eating. She kept glancing at her phone, waiting for a message from Matthew. Meanwhile, Andrew talked with her mother, acting as sweet as always. I think after the wedding, we can move into the new house I've prepared, he said. Helen's face lit up with a bright smile. Really? You've already found one you like? I have. Somewhere quiet, where no one will bother us. Bella felt a chill run down her spine. Somewhere no one would bother them. What was he planning? After dinner, Andrew left the house. Bella ran straight to her room, closed the door, and opened her phone. A message from Matthew was already there. Matthew, I've connected. I'm downloading data from his phone. Bella gripped her phone tightly. Bella, anything? It took a few minutes before Matthew replied. Matthew, yeah. But, you need to see it for yourself. Bella's heart raced. Bella, what did you find? Matthew, photos. The next day, Bella met Matthew at the cafe near school. He set his laptop on the table, typed a few commands, then turned the screen toward her. Bella swallowed hard and leaned in to look. The photos appeared on the screen. She froze. They were pictures of Adriana Collins, the woman who had gone missing. But it wasn't just that. There were photos of her tied up, locked in a dark room. And the last photos were of her dead body. Bella felt her stomach twist violently. "Oh my God," she whispered. Matthew nodded, his face pale. "He killed her." Bella felt her whole body go cold. He was a murderer. And now, her mother was about to marry him. Emily was there too, her face white as a sheet. What are you going to do?" Emily whispered. Bella clenched her fists. "I'm going to the police." Matthew nodded. "You should. But you're going to need more solid evidence." He could deny the photos. Bella frowned. "What do you mean?" Matthew spoke slowly. "We need direct evidence from him. A confession or something undeniable." Emily looked worried. "How do we get him to confess?" Bella thought for a long time. Then an idea hit her. "I'm going to set him up." That night, Bella sat in her room, making plans. She needed to find a way to make Andrew reveal the truth. She had to provoke him. And the only way to do that was to confront him directly. Her phone buzzed. It was Andrew. She froze. He had never called her before. She took a deep breath and answered. His voice was low and dangerous. "Bella, do you think I don't know what you've been doing?" Her heart pounded. "I don't know what you're talking about," she replied, trying to sound calm. He chuckled. "You're a smart girl. But this is your one and only warning. Stay out of grown-up business." Bella swallowed hard. He knew. And she could feel, he wouldn't let her get away with it. The next day, she met with Matthew and Emily. "I need a recorder." Matthew nodded. "I've got one. It's small, you can hide it in your pocket." Emily looked worried. "What are you going to do?" Bella looked at her friends, her voice steady. "I'm going to make him confess." Bella gripped the small recorder tightly in her hand. This was her only chance. She needed a confession from Andrew. He had killed Adriana. He could do the same thing to her mother. And if Bella didn't act now, there wouldn't be another opportunity. She took a deep breath. "I won't be afraid." That evening, Andrew came to the house again. Helen was busy in the kitchen, and he sat alone in the living room, scrolling on his phone. Bella walked over, pretending nothing was wrong. "Can I talk to you for a minute?" she asked. Andrew looked up, smiling faintly. "Of course." She sat down across from him, feeling every heartbeat slam in her chest. "I know you're hiding something," she said. He tilted his head, his eyes sharp. "What are you talking about?" Bella clenched her hands, staring directly at him. "Adriana Collins." There was a deadly silence for 1 second. Andrew's eyes darkened. "What do you know about her?" "I know you dated her. I know she disappeared. I know you were the last person to see her." He leaned back, giving a cold smile. "Where did you find all this information?" Bella smirked. "You don't need to know that. But I have proof." Andrew blinked. For a moment, the calm expression on his face cracked. She had him. Bella continued. "I know what you did. And if you don't want me to go to the police, you'd better confess right now." He stared at her for a long moment. Then suddenly, he laughed. A low, dangerous laugh. "Bella, do you think you're clever?" Andrew tilted his head, his voice light as air. Bella swallowed but didn't back down. "I know the truth." He chuckled softly. "Do you? Then tell me, what exactly is the truth?" Bella took a deep breath. "That you killed Adriana. And you're planning to do the same thing to my mom." His eyes gleamed with something dangerous. He stood up and slowly walked toward her. "And what do you think you can do about it, little girl?" Bella gripped the recorder tightly in her pocket, her heart racing. "I have proof. And if you don't confess, I'll take it to the police. Andrew stopped, staring at her. Then he laughed again. Helen, he suddenly called out loudly. Bella's heart dropped. No. Her mother walked out from the kitchen, looking confused. What is it? Andrew turned to Helen, his voice gentle. Your daughter just said something very interesting to me. Helen frowned. What? Andrew sighed, shaking his head. She thinks I'm a murderer. Helen froze. What? Bella jumped up from her seat. Mom, don't believe him. He's really a killer. I have proof. Helen turned to her daughter, her voice stern. Bella, not this again. Mom, please listen to me. Andrew sighed. Darling, I think she's obsessed with this idea. I've never done anything wrong. Helen shook her head. You don't need to explain. I trust you. Bella felt like she was about to lose her mind. Why don't you believe me, Mom? I have proof. I'll show you right now. The girl reached into her pocket. But the recorder was gone. Bella's heart stopped. She fumbled around in her pocket. Nothing. No, no way. She looked up at Andrew. He was smiling. She understood immediately. He had taken it. Her whole world crumbled. Andrew shook his head, his voice full of pity. Poor girl. She's obsessed with these crazy ideas. Helen sighed. Bella, I told you. You need to stop this. Bella felt tears welling up. No. She couldn't let him win. She took a deep breath and looked straight at her mother. If you marry him, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Helen shook her head. I don't want to hear any more. She turned away. Andrew smirked at Bella one last time. He had won. Bella went back to her room and slammed the door shut. She felt more helpless than ever. He had taken away her only chance. Her mother was going to marry him. And after that, what would happen? Her phone vibrated. It was Matthew. She wiped her tears and answered. Hello. Matthew's voice was urgent. Are you okay? You didn't send anything. Bella's voice shook. He took the recorder. Matthew cursed. That bastard. I knew it. Bella gripped the phone tighter. What do I do now? Matthew was silent for a few seconds, then spoke slowly. We'll find another way. Bella closed her eyes. She couldn't give up. She wouldn't let Andrew hurt her mother. No matter what. Bella sat on her bed, holding her phone tightly. She couldn't let it end like this. Andrew had taken the most important piece of evidence from her. He had made her mother believe she was paranoid. But she wouldn't give up. A message from Matthew appeared on the screen. Matthew, I have an idea. But you have to be really careful. Bella, what is it? Matthew, we're going to set a trap for him. Bella's heart pounded. Bella, how? Matthew, we need to make him confess. But this time, there'll be no way for him to deny it. Bella bit her lip, thinking. The only way to make a predator show its true face, was to corner it. And she knew what to do. The next morning, Bella went downstairs to the kitchen, where her mother was making coffee. Helen looked at her daughter and sighed. Are you still upset about yesterday? Bella kept her expression as calm as she could. No. I just want to apologize. Helen was surprised. Really? Bella nodded. I think maybe I was too worried. If you're happy, I'll support you. Helen smiled, her eyes relieved. I know you only want what's best for me. I'm glad you understand now. So, can I do something for you? Helen frowned slightly. What is it? Bella took a deep breath. Can you invite Andrew over tonight? I want to talk to him alone. Helen hesitated. Are you sure? Bella nodded firmly. Very sure. That evening, Andrew came over as usual. Bella opened the door with a smile. Can I talk to you in private? He looked at her for a long moment, then smirked. Of course. He followed her into the living room and sat down on the sofa. Bella sat across from him and placed her phone on the table. I want to ask you a question. He smiled. Go ahead. She took a deep breath. If someone killed somebody, would they feel guilty? Andrew's eyes narrowed slightly. Why are you asking that? I'm just curious. She shrugged. Someone like you might understand. He chuckled. Are you trying to provoke me, Bella? She stared straight at him. Maybe. He tilted his head, his voice lowering. Little girl, you don't know who you're messing with. That's fine. I like a challenge. Andrew suddenly stood up and walked closer to her. Bella stayed in her seat, not backing down. You think you're smarter than me? Not really. But I do know one thing, you're afraid of the truth coming out. His eyes darkened. What evidence do you have? Bella smiled faintly. Isn't it you who's going to say it? He raised an eyebrow. How can you be sure? She slowly reached for the phone on the table and pressed a button. Andrew's voice played loudly from the speaker. Little girl, you think I don't know what you're doing? Stay out of grown-ups' business. His face stiffened. Bella smirked. I always have a backup plan. He stared at her, his lips pressed tight. She continued, I have this recording. And I sent a copy to Matthew. If anything happens to me, the police will have it immediately. Andrew was silent. A long, heavy moment passed. Then suddenly, he laughed. A low, dangerous laugh. You. I didn't expect you to be this bold. Bella said nothing, just watched him. He stepped closer, bending down to her eye level. But do you really think I'll just let this go? Bella gripped the phone tightly but stayed calm. I don't need you to let it go. I just need you to know. I'm not afraid of you. He stared at her for a long moment. Then he changed. He wasn't pretending to be polite anymore. His face darkened, his eyes sharp like knives. You just made a huge mistake. And you made a bigger one. Bella pressed another button on the phone. The living room door opened. Helen stood there. Her face was pale, her eyes wide in shock. Andrew froze. Bella turned calmly to her mother. Did you hear enough, Mom? Helen trembled as she stepped inside, her eyes full of fear. What did you say, Andrew? Andrew quickly tried to regain his composure, but it was too late. Helen, listen, I can explain. No need, her voice broke. I've heard more than enough. Andrew clenched his fists. Helen, don't believe that girl. She's trying to frame me. Helen shook her head, tears streaming down her face. I trusted you. I gave you my future. And who are you? A murderer. Andrew gritted his teeth. Bella stepped back, her heart pounding. Helen gasped. You killed Adriana, didn't you? He didn't answer. 1 second. 2 seconds. Then he smiled. Maybe. Helen collapsed, covering her face with both hands. Bella grabbed her mother's hand, squeezing it tightly. It was over. But there was still one more thing. Outside, the sound of police sirens echoed. The sound of police sirens echoed outside. Bella held her mother's hand tightly as Helen kept trembling. Andrew wasn't smiling anymore. He spun toward the window, his eyes darkening. The cops are here, he muttered. Bella swallowed hard. What was he going to do? Helen sobbed, covering her mouth, her eyes full of horror. I loved you, and you're a monster. Andrew blinked, then gave a cold smile. Helen, you need to listen to me. Bella clenched her jaw. There's nothing left to explain. You confessed. The police banged on the door. This is the police. Open the door now. Andrew whipped around, his eyes turning dangerous. There's no need for us to blow this out of proportion, right? He said, his voice chillingly calm. Bella stepped in front of her mother. This isn't blown out of proportion. You're going to jail. Andrew frowned. I don't think so. Then he lunged. It happened too fast. Andrew grabbed Bella, twisting her wrist hard. Ah! Bella screamed. Helen lunged forward. Let go of my daughter. He shoved her to the floor. Outside, the police kept banging on the door. Bella, are you okay? Helen gasped, trying to get up. Bella struggled, but his grip was too strong. She gritted her teeth. You won't get away with this. He gave a cold laugh. I think I will. He dragged her toward the back door. Helen screamed. No. Please. Somebody help. Suddenly, the front door burst open. Police officers stormed in. Let the girl go now, one officer shouted, gun raised. Andrew froze. Bella took the chance and bit his hand hard. He hissed in pain and let her go. She ran straight to the police. Get him, one officer ordered. Andrew turned and bolted toward the back door. But the police were already there, blocking his way. He pulled a knife from inside his coat. Don't come near me. The officer shouted, drop the weapon now. Helen sobbed, holding Bella tightly. Please, arrest him. Andrew looked around wildly, like a trapped animal. He had no way out. A police officer rushed in from behind, striking his arm hard, making the knife fall to the floor. He collapsed, overpowered by 3 officers. The handcuffs tightened around his wrists. You're under arrest for murder. Bella gasped, staring at the scene in front of her. He had been completely caught. An hour later, at the police station. Helen and Bella sat across from the inspector, while Andrew was taken into the interrogation room. Inspector Morales placed a sheet of paper on the table. We've checked his phone. The photos, the messages. Bella, you did very well. Helen was still trembling. I can't believe I once loved him. Bella squeezed her mother's hand. Mom, it's all over now. Helen looked at her daughter, tears streaming down her face. If it weren't for you, I would have never known the truth. Bella gave a faint smile. I only did what I had to do. Morales nodded. This girl is very brave. Without you, he might have continued committing crimes. Helen squeezed her daughter's hand tightly, moved. I owe you so much, Bella. Bella shook her head. We just need to forget about him. Start over. Helen took a deep breath, then nodded. Yes. You and I will start again. 3 days later. Bella and Helen walked into the house, feeling relief for the first time in so long. Helen turned to her daughter. We're moving away. Leaving this place. Bella looked up. Really? Helen nodded, her eyes resolute. I don't want to have any memories of him anymore. I just want us to be happy. Bella smiled. I agree. Helen took a deep breath. And I'll spend more time with you. No one will interfere with our lives anymore. Bella felt a warm joy fill her heart. For the first time in so long, she felt safe. 1 week later. Bella stood on the balcony of their new house, looking out at the blazing red sunset. Her mother stepped out, placing a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "What are you thinking about?" Bella smiled. "I'm just enjoying this feeling of peace." Helen smiled, hugging her daughter. "I owe you so much, Bella. You saved me." The girl rested her head on her mother's shoulder. "I just want you to be happy." Helen whispered, "I've already found happiness." The two of them stood there, embracing a new chapter in life without any trace of Andrew. He had been arrested. Justice had been served. Everything had finally ended. Bella's story shows us that intuition and courage can save ourselves and our loved ones. Even when doubted by those around her, she persisted in uncovering the truth and protecting her mother from a dangerous man. Blind faith can lead people into traps, but clarity and relentless pursuit will bring justice. Additionally, the story emphasizes that true family lies in care and understanding, not in illusions of false happiness.